Hola, clase, y bienvenidos a la lección de los mandatos. Hello, class, and welcome to today's lesson on commands. In languages, you use commands to command people or things to do things or to not do things. Here's an example in English. Don't leave. Here's another example. Leave. Who all can you give commands to? Think about the subject pronouns. You can command you. I can command you to do something. In Spanish, that's tú. I can command the other formal you, usted. I can command you all, several yous, to do something, ustedes. And I can command us to do something, nosotros. And in English, that sounds like, let's go, guys. Let's read a book. Let's take a nap. Those are commands. So, in Spanish, every command is just the subjunctive form, present subjunctive, of the person you're commanding. Except the tú affirmative. An affirmative here doesn't mean positive exactly. It just means when you're telling somebody to do something as opposed to a negative command, which would be telling somebody not to do something. So the tú command, when it's affirmative, is not the subjunctive form. Every other command, nosotros, usted, ustedes, affirmative and negative, are just the subjunctive form. And then the tú negative command is also the subjunctive form of tú. Let's look at some more examples. Oh, before we do that, let me read this bullet point. The tú affirmative command, while not being the subjunctive, is the third person singular form of the verb, which is the ella form, which is kind of weird because it's the ella form. So you would know it by context. Here we go. So, what's the difference between affirmative and negative commands? Well, for pretty much everything, you just put no in front of it, except what I just explained about the tú command, which is the third person singular ella form. Everything else, usted affirmative, is usted subjunctive, nosotros subjunctive, ustedes subjunctive. And then all the negatives, you just put the word no in front of the subjunctive form of the person you're commanding. And that no means don't. That's the English don't. Don't leave, don't run, don't die. There's some irregular tú affirmative commands. And then only one other minor irregular, nosotros. Otherwise, that chart before holds true. Now, there's only these verbs that have an irregular tú affirmative, not negative, tú affirmative command form. And they are decir, which, when you're commanding tú affirmatively, is di. Say something. Di. Ir is be. Go. Be. Ser. Se. Be something. Be something. Se. Se with an accent. Don't confuse that with what? That's right. Present indicative yo form of saber. Ir by the be is also third person singular of ver. So again, it's the context. Ser, se. Hacer, haz. H-A-Z. Do it. Make it. Haz. Poner, pon. Put, salir, sal. Tener, ten. Have it. And lastly, venir, ven. How are you going to remember these? There's 8 of them. It's not really a good acronym at all, but the first letter of these in non-alphabetical order, the way I have them here, is dish, PSTV. Decir, ir, ser, hacer, poner, salir, tener, venir, dish, PSTV. Is that going to help? Who knows? So, I heard this somewhere in years past from some Spanish teacher. There was an actor in the United States in the early 2000s, he's probably still alive, whose name was Vin Diesel in action movies. So some creative Spanish teacher or student came up with this. If you rearrange the 8 affirmative tu commands in this fashion, and you read it in sort of a Spanishy, almost German/Canadian accent, it sounds like you're talking about this actor. So let me read these 2 affirmative commands the way I was just describing, and we'll see if this works for you. If you've already decided that you hate the premise, you don't want to go on, I'd say skip it. Don't even hear what I'm about to say. But if you want to, stay listening. Here we go. Bendizal has ten beponse. So it's pretty absurd, but it's like you're saying Vin Diesel has 10 weapons. That's the Canadian throw in at the end. Ugh. Okay, the subject pronoun is tú, usted, nosotros, ustedes. Where do you put it in the command? This is one way to distinguish a command from a non-command. You put it afterwards. So, read you, lee tú. Don't talk to me. No me hables tú. And this, by the way, is not necessary. Especially if it's a real conversation, it's going to be understood that you're commanding the other person and not talking about somebody else reading. You would put it there for emphasis to really drive the point home. Cálmense ustedes. Calm down, y'all. Okay, nosotros commands. This is the one other irregular thing happening. For ir, to go, the verb ir, you don't use the subjunctive form, you use the indicative form, which is just vamos. So for let's go, it's just vamos. But the nosotros negative form of ir does use subjunctive, it's no vayamos. So vamos, no vayamos. And then pronoun attachment. If we haven't gotten to this yet, we'll get to it in a different lesson. But when you add the pronoun nos to a nosotros command, the S at the end of the nosotros command disappears. So vamos, when you add nos onto it, giving it the meaning of let's get out of here, like Dora, the cartoon character girl, says, the S of vamos disappears. Vámonos. And you need an accent over the syllable that had the original stress, which is the syllable before the mos. And here's a weird thing. When you attach the pronoun se to an affirmative nosotros command, one of the S's disappears. So demos would be let's give, and then the him, her, or them is the se, and then it is lo that I just tacked on there, which would make le or les turn into se. Anyway, demoselo, instead of being D-E with an accent, M-O-S-S-E-L-O, the S disappears. And then I threw this in. If you have an ustedes command, which ends in in, if you attach the pronoun nos, neither in disappears. Denoslo. So you can get 2 N's but not 2 S's. Okay, give every command form of these verbs. Ir, dar, and I'm telling you to add the pronouns les and la, and then hacer, add the pronoun lo. And with affirmative commands, the pronouns attach. Affirmative commands, the pronouns attach to the end. Negative commands, they go after no, but in front of the verb. Negative commands, you put pronouns after no, but in front of the verb. Ready? So here's ir. Ve. No vayas. Vaya, no vaya. Vamos, no vayamos. Vayan, no vayan. Great? Dar. When you have the pronoun les or le, and you attach a pronoun, a second pronoun that begins with L, which is lo or la,
then that les turns into se. So dar, affirmative would be da, and then you just attach the se la, dásela. Need an accent to keep the stress there. But then the negative, no se la des. Usted, désela, no se la dé. That accent's already there from the subjunctive form, de for usted. Démosela, no se la demos. We already talked about the disappearing S. Dénsela, no se la den. Those need accents to maintain the original stress, emphasis. And then hacer with the pronoun lo. Do it. Hazlo. Don't do it. No lo hagas. Do it. Usted. Hágalo. No lo haga. Hagámoslo. No lo hagamos. Háganlo. No lo hagan. Bien.